This is Jonathan Agger, 5th Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Eddie Hearn. Weigh-ins all done, Whyte against Franklin tomorrow on Dazn. Just thought it might kick off in the face-off, but they kind of shook.
He stepped to him, and to be fair to Jermaine Franklin, didn't look concerned, you know, and I think he's ready. Honestly, I think both of these guys are ready to fight. I thought Dillian looked in tremendous shape. Jermaine Franklin's a big boy, like he always is. He's got good feet, fast hands, they're very confident. There's a lot of pressure on Dillian Whyte. I think it's a tremendous fight, and obviously the co-main event as well, Wardley against Gorman. Fantastic fight. You know, as a, not just a promoter, but a fight fan, you know, when you're up there, you can just, and you're like, you got a smile on your face going, fucking hell, this is a great fight. And it's a really good card tomorrow night, and a big moment for Dillian Whyte.
How do you think Franklin's going to approach this? He's quite a lot bigger than Whyte. Well, not loads, but at least a stone bigger. Do you think he's looking for an early knockout here?
No, I think he's, you know, he's a very good boxer. He's got good feet, he's got fast hands, you know, he's got good lateral body movement as well, and there's a lot of pressure on Dillian Whyte. I think Franklin will start fast, in all honesty with you, and Dillian's got to be switched on early. But I'm not sure if Franklin can stand and trade with Dillian Whyte. If he can, you know, if he can take one of those left hooks, I'm not so sure. But I don't see this fight going past 6 rounds.
What's Franklin's best chance of winning this one?
Landing a great shot, and he's capable of doing it. He throws, he's clever. You know, he has a variety of punches. Obviously, everyone talks about the uppercut against Dillian Whyte. They'll be trying to land that shot as well, but he has a very good chance in this fight, even though Dillian Whyte's the favourite.
I think the obvious sort of great fight on the undercard's Wardley Gorman, but what else should people be looking at?
Well, I mean, Sandy Ryan against Sanchez is a great fight. Sanchez is like a 4-division world champion. Sandy's coming off a great win against Farias. She wants to make a statement and start calling out the Chantel Cameron fight and McCaskill, and it's a really good fight against an inexperienced pro and an established world champion. Pat McCormack and Mark Dickinson both in good fights as well. They're two tremendous talents, as is Chev Clark as well on the card. George Liddard making his debut, Thomas Carty, the heavyweight. It's a really good night of boxing.
How many people are you expecting there tomorrow?
About 6,000, something like that. I mean, there's 4 fights on in London this weekend, and then you've got Fury Chisora the week after. So it's very difficult at the moment to sell tickets. I'm pretty happy with the crowd. It'll be a great atmosphere. And you know, there's a fight at the O2, same night, Parker Ryder. There's one tonight, is there? I think tomorrow as well. So yeah, very competitive market. And I believe we have by far the best show of the weekend.
Will the main events clash, do you think, Ryder Parker?
No, we'll be in the ring about 10:30. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. I think Frank Smith was having a chat with George Warren, and obviously if we can, it would make sense.
Just on that, you know, you said there's a load of cards going on, and you know, going into next year, do you think, given sort of what you said the other day about the cost of living and people not being able to afford to go to as many shows, you might have less smaller shows and more bigger shows because people won't want to go to 4 shows a month?
Yeah, I think you have to make sure you keep your schedule consistent. You need to keep providing for your stable. When we put our schedule together, like we're doing at the moment, it's quite complicated because it's not England. Like every other promoter here is saying we're doing 8 shows, 10 shows in England. Right? One week we're going to Manchester, next month we're going to Scotland, whatever. We're saying, okay, we start in Mexico, then we go to Nottingham, then we're at Madison Square Garden, then we're in Brisbane, then we're in Guadalajara, then we're in Milan, then we're in Madrid, then we're back at the O2. So it's really complex, but you have to understand each individual market. You know, for the cost of living crisis in the UK, that also is apparent in other countries and other states in America, etc. So we have to look at ticket pricing, we have to deliver more value than ever before. But you made a good point about the quality of shows, because when things get tough like this, the big shows will always sell. You know, look at Ben Eubank, sold out in 8 minutes. You know, you're going to have, I think, 30,000 or however many will be, 40,000 at Chisora Fury next week. It's the ones that are good shows, but you take it or leave it. Do you know what I mean? And you might have a fight fan that goes to 1 a month, might start going to 2 a month, or 1 every 3 a month. Sorry, 1 every 2 months, or one every 3 months. So you have to understand what's happening in the world. You have to give more value, and you have to look at your price point as well. You know, and say, are people going to attend? You know, is that a fair price within this current situation? Hotels are more expensive, travel's more expensive, gas, energy, petrol, all this kind of stuff. So sometimes live sport takes a little bit of a back unless it's must see. So more must see events, but we don't want to start reducing the number of our shows. You know, we just want to make sure the quality is the best in the market. And if you look at this weekend, not just saying it, ours is the standout show. There's some good shows, but this is how we need to be. We need to keep delivering value for money for fight fans.
Just on sort of, you mentioned Ben Eubank, given the fight didn't happen and that would have been a massive fight for you and Dazn, is there more pressure on you to deliver a major pay-per-view next year? Example, Joshua Whyte?
The right fight. I mean, they're not looking, they're not phoning me up saying, we need a pay-per-view. Dazn is not about pay-per-view. It's about unrivaled value for money as the global home of boxing as part of a monthly subscription. We just know that to make certain fights, you need pay-per-view functionality. So we're not under pressure to produce pay-per-view events. If they're there, and some of the fights we're talking about and working on will be, especially Anthony Joshua, of course, but that's not part of the mindset. The mindset is put a consistent schedule together, as we said before, that will deliver unrivaled value for money. And that is Dazn. It's the biggest platform in boxing globally. It's tremendous value for fight fans. You subscribe for this fight, Dillian Whyte. You've got Dillian Whyte against Franklin card. You've got Estrada Chocolatito next week, massive card. You've got December 10, Josh Warrington with a great fight in Leeds with Ebony Bridges. You've got so much content coming at you all the time, and that's what we must keep on doing because things will get tough.
Just going to quickly rattle a few names off just for some updates. Billy Joe Saunders in your plans?
No, I mean, Billy Joe Saunders was, we allowed him to go out and talk to other people. He was talking to other people. I saw some stuff on his Instagram about Sky the other day. I'm not sure what that was about, but obviously they were trying to sign him. We'll have to see. Always open to working with Billy Joe. I think he's a great talent.
Gennady Golovkin, will you still work with him?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's got a couple of mandatories, but always looking for big fights for Gennady. He's a huge global name.
And have you made any offers to Choi for the Baumgartner fight?
Yeah, we have actually. We're talking to her. We'd like to do that fight beginning of February. It's whether she'll be ready, but that's an important fight to make. We should make as many undisputed fights as possible for women's boxing.
When are you looking to get McKinson out next?
Early next year as well. Yeah, he's had a great run in America, and he needs to make a charge now at trying to get himself back in contention for the big fights.
Is the Montana Love Stevie Sport rematch going to happen?
Possibly. I mean, there's some big fights out there for both. I still like Montana Love against Richardson Hitchens, and Stevie Spark against Liam Paro, or the rematch. Some massive fights out there for everyone, but that's just part of our global stable that we have to schedule in.
Final question. You've made obviously a lot of signings this year for Dazn. Anyone you regret not signing over the years? You have to say one?
Pat McCormack, but we ended up getting him.